if you were the general manager of the 49ers, obviously they have a lot of things to clean up, but if you were the general manager of the 49ers, what changes would you make to the team this offseason? Obviously, there's a lot to clean up, but also there's a lot of bright spots in this team as well. But what changes would you make? I'm interested to see what you would do, because obviously you're always proposing these, we should pick this guy up. A lot of times it doesn't happen, or sometimes it does, but you would be a pretty good general manager. So if you were the general manager, what would you do?
All right. I'm going to try to clear some salary off the books right now. So I'm going to start,
Right.
of course, with getting rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. And I'm afraid the Niners are going to make a mistake here. They're going to hold out for like a first-round pick. So they're going to say they want a first-round pick, but then accept a second and say no to a third. If they say no to a third and can't get anything better than that, they're fools. I'm sorry, but I'm not sure they're going to do that. But I would take a third if that's the best. I would take a fourth if that's the best I could get. Just take the contract. Take the contract. I don't want the quarterback anymore. So that'd be the first thing. I unload that, create $24 million in cap space, and then I would trade Armstead. I think Armstead is. I think his stock is up. What do you think you could get for Armstead in a trade?
Probably. Well, I don't know how much defensive tackles go for. Probably not a first.
Buckner went for the 13th pick, and everyone's saying Armstead's just as good now, right? Isn't that what everyone's saying?
I don't think he is as good. I think you could probably get a second-round pick for him. Which would be good as well.
But he's inconsistent, right?
Right, exactly.
And the championship game.
Yeah, and he's only had really a few good stretches. I think DeForest Buckner was a lot more consistent. So probably a second, yeah. So continue.
Okay, so I'd trade him for a second.
Yeah.
And what I would do is, instead of spending $20 million on Armstead next year, I would re-sign DJ Jones for, he's not going to be too expensive. I'd re-sign Eric Arden Key, Jones. Those are guys I think are actually give you more bang for your buck than Eric Armstead, who's great when he turns it on, but he turns it on like 2 or 3 times a season or something. Unless it's a contract year, then he's going to knock it out. But what else would I do? I would give Ross Dwelly a 5-year extension, of course, lifetime contract. No, if I were the new GM there, I'd have to talk to Kyle and be like, Kyle, can you tell me why George Kittle was so underused the second half of the season? Is it because he was hurt? Is it because he needed to block because Compton's so bad in pass protection, or is it because you don't want to use him anymore? Because if you don't want to use him anymore, what are we spending $16 million a year on? So Kyle would have to sell me on keeping Kittle. Tell me you're going to use him. Tell me you're going to use him. If you're going to use him, then great. But otherwise, like, maybe some other teams should use Kittle and we could use a draft pick. I wouldn't trade Kittle, but I would definitely talk to Kyle. Like, you got to tell me what happened here. I don't get that.
I don't either. I mean, George Kittle, I think he still has, it's not like he's washed or anything. I still think I think this year, right. And I think he give Kyle Shanahan some time. My argument is on it, because you have to remember, Jimmy Garoppolo was so limited at the end of last year, like the most limited he's been almost in his whole entire career. He's been injured, everything else. So I wouldn't give it some time. Obviously, George Kittle, they'll probably get him a little bit more involved, especially now, Jimmy Garoppolo just wasn't, it was all Deebo Samuel. That's all they used. And I think there comes a point when you can't always use Deebo Samuel. They're going to have to turn to George Kittle. So I think give it one more year. And if that still doesn't happen, then that's weird. But I think he still is worth it. Yeah.
A great play caller like Kyle Shanahan should be able to get the ball to multiple people.
Right.
I mean, maybe it's a Jimmy thing, because Andy Reid has no problem. In 2019, he had no problem getting Kelsey, Hill, and Watkins involved. Now when Trey Lance played, I thought he spread the ball around a lot. But you're spending $16 million on a tight end. Can't be 3 catches. Can't be 4. It's supposed to be 6, 7. That was the whole idea. Now, I guess the Niners didn't realize that Deebo Samuel would be over here getting freaking 2,000 yards from scrimmage every year. But still.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think I would definitely change the right tackle position. I don't care if Mike McGlinchey is still on the roster. I mean, there's guys. There's actually really good free agents. I'll pull it up right here from the right tackle. Let me see here. Okay. Eric Fisher. Now, he's a left tackle, but I think you could move him around. Eric Fisher wouldn't be a bad one. Let me see. Morgan Moses. Have you heard of him? Morgan Moses, he is a free agent this year. You could get Trent Brown, any of those guys. And Morgan Moses would be relatively, I know.
They should get Trent Brown back. Get him on a 1-year deal. Trent Brown is way better than Mike McGlinchey. Way better than Mike McGlinchey, who's on the Niners.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give Trent Brown a multi-year deal, but sort of like Armstead. If you give him a clear goal and like the bag right at the end of the tunnel, he will get it. He is a really good player when motivated. Trent Brown.
Right. And the thing is my argument is the draft is not like second round. I don't think it's a place to draft another rookie because you already have Aaron Banks on the roster. You get some experience that until you can figure out something with Aaron Banks, I think it would be a waste to get another rookie when you don't even know you can develop him. It's ridiculous. So
I got another vet they could sign on a 1-year deal like Trent Brown if he wants to sign another vet in a 1-year deal. Stephon Gilmore.
Right.
You know, like you can play in the slot. You can start and then move in the slot in the nickel defense, and you can actually match up with Cooper Kupp.
Right.
2 times you faced him. So that'd be one too.
And Morgan Moses, I mean, last year was a $3.6 million deal. So that is pretty cheap. And I think he's a top 5 tackle in free agency. So
one more name.
Right.
One more name. This is someone else. Coach Noah Johnston. Justin Reed, Eric Reed's little brother.
Okay. Yep.
Replaced Hart.
Okay.
Those are some names. I don't know if you can get all of those guys, but those are people I'd be interested in.
Yeah, and I mean the safeties as well. You know, there's actually quite a good Jesse Bates for Bengals.
Really good, super good. He's gonna get a ton of money.
Jesse now. Yeah, Quandre Diggs for Seattle. We've heard of him. He's pretty good. So Jordan Whitehead. So there's a lot of safeties, offensive linemen. I think this is the one off season where the draft's not as good, and there's quite a lot of good free agency. This is the 1 year where I think the 49ers need to get more active in free agency. So
Amin has a question. He says, will the Niners and Trey Lance make it to the division round next year? Why or why not? Well, it's a little early. We haven't seen what they do in free agency or the draft, but I think to me, I would think so. I mean,
and I brought up this point. Well, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so I brought up this point like on your show as well. The NFC is going to be so wide open, especially with Tom Brady potentially gone. I don't know if he's coming back. Aaron Rodgers, stuff like that. The NFC is going to be wide open. So I think there's not going to be a ton of teams to be reckoned with this next season. So, yeah.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Also, the Niners are still loaded. They still have Debo.
Right.
Like to me, people always keep acting like, man, what are they going to do? How are they going to win without Jimmy? But how are they going to win without Jimmy? Like, hold on.
Yeah.
Trent Williams, Elijah Mitchell, Debo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, and this quarterback only had 20 touchdowns and 12 picks. I'm thinking most quarterbacks would put up better numbers with this supporting cast, and I think Trey Lance falls into that most quarterback category.
Right. I do agree. Wait, Grant, you wouldn't really recommend going after Brady now. We have a top.
Whoa!
No, too late for that.
There's a whole different thing. There's a difference between Jimmy Garoppolo and Tom Brady. You always say yes to Tom Brady. What did the Niners learn? You never say no to Tom Brady. You never say no to Tom Brady. That's a rule in life. I mean, it's in football. So if he's like, I would come out of retirement only to play for the Niners. The Niners have one job, and that's to say yes.
Right. And it wouldn't even cost that much.
No, and Trey Lance he's not going anywhere. And in the meantime, what would happen? You'd win the Super Bowl. So yeah, you just say yes. I'm sorry. That's how I feel.
Well, and another
the team that said no to him twice.
Right.
Crazy.
Another thing is that Tom Brady, unlike Aaron Rodgers, would probably be willing to take a pretty cheap deal. So it's not like maybe $20 million, something like that. So it would be cheaper than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Cheaper than Jimmy.
Yeah. Right. And you free up some space with Jimmy. I think that would be a good idea. I wouldn't hate that move at all. So